have an idea that I was going to test anyway, so I figured I might as well record it. But it's not going to be a long... It doesn't really matter which one I start with. This part also doesn't really matter. Just so I can actually see everything. What I want to do is I just want to start in each biome to see what they look like, because I don't even know. Like, there's some I'm clearly not going to use, or not until I have a much better grasp on the game, because that would be where the difficulty increase would be. But I have seen Arid Shrubland. I have not seen Desert, so it's just, yeah, pick a flat one without anything else. Oh, that's actually cold for a desert. Let's start with one that would be there. Sure, whatever. Doesn't really matter, because all I'm doing is looking at the biomes. Yeah, that's how that works out, and then, like I mentioned, you get stuff spread out, but it's also in other places on the map. So it says 25% forage. What I'm guessing it means, because it doesn't actually specify, with that 25, 50, or, yeah, see, more stuff out and about. With the 25, 50, or 100% forage is how much of your basic food needs could be met by it, but what it probably means is how much of the map is even usable in this way. Yeah, there are green patches where you could plant more than enough food. The feeding yourself until it starts to grow is where the prepackaged meals you come with comes in, because it does say that there's, maybe they're just all too small to notice. Oh, that's a tiny little thing. That's not actually a harvestable resource, it's just something you can get out of the way. Yeah. These mean that you can get a little bit of wood very slowly. There does seem to be more structures that could be broken down, but that's also random. But yeah, this map has a bunch of them, so I don't know if that's a biome thing or what. Might as well just... yeah. I thought there was supposed to be a cafe on this map, but I'm not. It said forage 25% agave, but I'm not seeing a single plant. So I really don't know what to make of that. Wonder if more of them will wander in over time, because that does happen. More than one kind of large violent bird. Great. I expected iguanas. There are also cassowaries in the game if you want to just give me all of that, but yeah, no. I do not see any agave, which is one of the things I'm supposed to be seeing. Now, the barrenness of the terrain does make it easier to see the stuff that's sprawled out across it, but yeah. That's what at least this randomized chunk of desert looks like. Just in case. I might get a chunk of the world that doesn't have a biome I'm looking for. But I am going drier, and then I'm gonna spread out from there. So for those first few, it probably won't matter. But I also don't know what kind of swath it shows for that, because there's regular desert, and then there's a drier kind of desert. Extreme desert. And you're not even year-round extreme desert. Let's go for a year-round extreme desert. A random purple person? Neat. Oh, well. You might as well at least. How? Oh, right. You have a pet cat. Alright. So, the yellow is technically plantable with things that, have lower fertility requirements. They will grow slower, which means you're going to have longer waits between patches, so cyclical is going to be even more necessary. Yeah, other than that, it's desert, just worse. I suppose you could tame and breed iguanas for food. I don't know what the fuck they'd eat, though. That's... And there's no wood on these maps, so you would have to buy it, or there's some things you can't avoid having would be part of their construction, so other than the stuff you show up with, you're just kind of fucked on that. Until and unless you buy it from traders. Fuck it, we'll see. From there, there's different kinds of swath of this stuff because I've seen temperate forest, I have seen tropical rainforest, but there's also temperate and tropical swamps. I've avoided them for reasons. There, year-round swamp. This is kind of the opposite of yesterday, spending all the time looking at biomes and no time on the party building. But this also came up because I had an idea that I wanted to try, but I want to see what all the biomes are actually like. Fucking Yorkie. Oh, right, swamp. A thing that comes immediately to mind is that softer ground you can't build on. You can't build walls and stuff. So finding things like this would be important, but there's going to be plenty of lush growing area. There also isn't much to mine compared to other things because there's a lot of that space is occupied by puddles instead. But there is still, some stuff to work with. And broader diversity of that. But yeah, the threat in the lusher stuff is usually disease more than a starvation. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So it's temperate that has these, because temperate forests have these, rainforests don't. You can harvest them wild and use them as medkits. But yeah, food isn't your problem on these maps. Drier than wetter than colder. Tropical swamp year round. There we go. he started with a donkey. Okay, so instead of just the shallow water puddles, you also have these marshy puddles. I wasn't paying attention for before. You maybe have some more muddiness, but other than the not having the heel route, I'm not sure how different you would end up being. Maybe the disease rate's different. I didn't look. It's gotta be bad on both. Drug policy is no, except medicine. Okay, well, since I asked, tropical swamp, average disease 2.0 versus 1.7. And temperate's 1.2, and okay. No, that's a rainforest. Okay. Boreal Forest. Would seem to be the next step up. 75% berries. Temperature aside. That's a whole lot of swampiness. Well, marsh. But, yeah, I'm not worried about this, but construction and anything else can't happen in all those swampy zones. So, swampy but gets cold. Oh. Boreal forests also have the ease. And I'm seeing conifers for the first time. I don't see much in the way of structures, but that's also random. So, like with the desert, I don't know how much of that is random and how much of that is the map. Yeah, some colonists are worse than useless. I didn't actually read the rest of that. Wasn't looking. Okay, so after Boreal comes Tundra, and then nothing can really happen on ice sheet beyond the growth never forage. No animals graze. No. What the fuck are you doing building polar? And then there's sea ice? Didn't know that one. Huh. Well, let's look at a tundra. Still heel root, so that's something. The fertility of the ground isn't the problem, it's the amount of the year where things will grow. You have some marshiness, but it's not awful. You also get some fertile spots. Okay. Yeah. Yep. This only highlights the ones on your viewable section of the screen. So, but, okay. Those probably aren't fertile during colder times of year, but I also haven't played through those, so I don't know. Ice sheet, sea ice. You can't start on ocean. No land. I hadn't noticed sea ice was a thing, but also you notice the poles are the opposite from where I look. Yeah, that's just... Yeah, the temperatures are also... You're kind of fucked. Left and right just spin you around when you're over the pole. No soil, no minerals, and almost no animal life. That no minerals to mine, I think, is meant to be the kicker. No soil. Some animals. Maybe some minerals. But, yeah, we know these are getting shittier the farther out from Temperate Forest we go. Okay. Those are technically usable if it wouldn't be too fucking cold for plants to grow, because they have, you know, minimum temperature ranges. Yeah, there are at least, you know, minerals. That's a deep water you can't even go through. See some jade. So, yeah. Desert, but cold. Which is what I expected Tundra to be. But, yeah, ice sheet definitely fits that. It's below freezing in the summer. Yay! And, yeah. If they actually breed like bunnies, I suppose they're a source of, you know, hides to turn into warm shit and, food. But again, what the fuck are they gonna eat? I mean, if you grow carnivores, at least you can feed them each other. Not that I think that would be super effective, but yeah. How the fuck do you even try to survive in these when you can't even grow food? Meat or plant is kind of the point. They exist, you can go ahead and challenge yourself and try, but don't see how that would go well. Unless you just get up and move, because you can do that. You would have to be able to actually carry all of your stuff. Your regular ice sheet. You are sea ice. Why do you give me stone types if you say there's no minerals to mine? Another purple people. Yeah. Why are there puddles? Right, C. Start with nothing. And for the sake of being obvious, yeah. Can't sustain shit. But it's nice and flat, with very few spots in the way. Yeah. Other than the not seeing the agave in the desert that I expected to see, this is, you know, because it's supposed to have agave. Interesting. Well, I haven't shown the Arid Shrubland, so. But Arid Shrubland has berries and agave. These are what I was looking for on that map and saw none. It's supposed to be there. but it wasn't. Um, but yeah, some patches that are just too dry rather than, too wet. But, a fair amount of fertile land, and it's warm enough to actually be usable. That's not what I support, a variety of animals. I think the difficulty of terrains actually goes temperate forest, arid shrubland, and then tropical rainforest, and then it declines from there. Probably to the swamps, and then, oh, but it's cold. So, yeah, other than not seeing what I was supposed to be on that desert map, no real surprises, but I was curious to actually take a look. Anywho, that's all I really had planned.